me and my guy Lucas, we're in the library. We got the Cathys. We got Cathy and Catherine. So if you know the difference, Cathy, um, former Marine, 62-year-old, kind of didn't really meet her at the New York City SEAL swim, but kind of did through Catherine, a little bit younger, right? Different age bracket. Here's what's great about these two ladies. Endurance athletes. They run marathons. They do Ironman, half Ironman, triathlons. They've been doing it for years, and they're really, really good at it. Starting with Cathy, I just looked up a little bit, but this year alone, she's an All-American at 62-year-old. She's going to be competing at USA Triathlon National. She's an All-American, and she qualified for Worlds. She's already qualified 7 other times. Okay, her dad, father, Hall of Fame swimmer. So awesome pedigree, and she's been living it ever since. And in her spare time, she sells a ton of jewelry right out of her house, out of beads, and she does really, really well. It's amazing. Catherine is actually the lady I met at the New York City SEAL Swim. Same deal in that she's a little bit younger, so doesn't quite have all the years that Cathy has and the experience and the successes. But this year alone qualified for triathlon and the half Ironman for World Championships, all in the same year. So if you listen to the other episodes, Bill Brown had me out to the New York City SEAL Swim back in August, SEAL fundraiser for the Naval Special Warfare Foundation. And so you start off with a little half-mile run. I don't. Everyone else did. All the cool people did. In New Jersey, you get to the jumping off point. You jump in the water and you swim. They say a half mile. It looks a bit further to me. And you get to this barge right across from the Statue of Liberty. You crawl out of the water, up this extension ladder onto this barge, and you start knocking out your push-ups and pull-ups. It's 100 push-ups, 22 pull-ups, 22 significant because 22 vets unfortunately commit suicide daily. So it's in honor of that. You jump back in the water, you swim towards Ellis Island, you get on another barge. It's about they say another half mile, but again, it looks longer. Same deal. You get to the barge, you crawl out of the water, push-ups and pull-ups again. Now you got to make it all the way to Manhattan and Battery Park and the southern tip. They say it's a mile. It looks longer, It looks, Bill just kind of lies the whole time. And they swim the whole way, crawl out of there. No push-ups and pull-ups yet. You pick up your U.S. flag and you jog to the World Trade Center. And then you knock out your push-ups and pull-ups. And I was just there, spectator, supporting the event, meeting folks, having a great time. And it's at the end, I'm listening to the speeches at the World Trade Center site, which is this outstanding moment, and the speakers were great. And Catherine walks by, and is a super tall blonde lady, real lean, and obviously athletic. So she's participating in the event. And I was like, well, I came here to meet more people. This lady's walking by, and I haven't met any females yet other than Shani, who was actually on the boat. And we had her episode drop last week. I'm going to go up and meet Catherine and say, hey, girl, can I talk to you real quick? And she's like, yeah, what's going on? Super approachable and nice. I'm sure I creeped her out. She's like, what the hell's this guy doing? What's this all about? I'm like, I run this podcast. I want to meet more athletes. I want to get in your heads and find out what you great people are all about. I need the tips and tricks. And I'm like, and I'm looking at all these people. Everyone's wearing these blue suits. And there's one chick. I go, there's one chick. I don't know who this lady is. She's wearing green of all things. One person's wearing green. Like, she's got to stick out. She must need the attention, right? This lady. I'm like, do you know who that lady is too? Because that lady, she's not even wearing fins. And fins are required for this swim. So this chick who's got to be in green, she's not wearing any fins, giving the finger to the whole world. So I'm going to do it anyways. Can you find her too? And selfishly, let's just see if we can make this work and be on the show. And you're like, hell yeah, let's do that. It's like, cool. If you ask, I guess you get sometimes. It wasn't like that for me in high school when I was asking females out. I had to ask a lot to get a yes. But this time, since it was not as threatening, apparently, I got a yes right off the bat. So we got Cathy and Catherine. Cathy, the Marine, Catherine, the account representative here, right? So completely different backgrounds. Great ladies. Cathy and Catherine, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah, very excited. Thank you for having us.
Cathy, I'll start with you since Catherine just spoke. So if you're a listener, Catherine just spoke. So Cathy, um, all these years, like, how come? How come we're still doing this? What's the drive, right? I think my hair's falling out. I've been swimming for a couple of months. Like, your hair is long, flowing Goldilocks. Like, how do you keep doing this?
Yeah. You know, Both my parents were go-getters, and I just think it's, in the genes. I mean, and then having two brothers, I think the competition's still going on between them. One's a Navy diver, the other one's a Marine. We're all in sports. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't like to be bored. So when I'm not working in the store, I also have a background in personal training and massage therapy. So I'm just always going. And I backed off racing. As you know, I lost a late husband who was Mr. New Hampshire. And after he died, I just didn't feel right training, after watching that brutal cancer. And then finally, my dad said 2 years ago, you promised him and your mother, who had just passed away, that you would get back into this because you love it. And that's it. I signed up for nationals 2 years ago and got back
Awesome.
into it.
How about you, Catherine?
So, yeah.
It's a way of life now, right? Training. Like I love training more. I love racing. I love the people that I meet, the atmosphere. And it's always like, what's the next harder, most challenging race that I can do? Once you finish one, you're like, I want to do another one. What's this one? Oh, this one's the 8 stage triathlon. What, this one's longer? What, this one's cold? Like it's just the constant seek for adventure, I think is
So
what.
I'm looking at Catherine's
Yeah.
bio, and she's like, "Yeah, I didn't really play much sports. I had some swim lessons. I knew how to do some things at age 6, but I didn't really try much and didn't really get into it until high school." And she ended up being really fast. Like she's a tall lady, right? Long levers, so plenty of leverage, and ended up being a really good sprinter. Ended up doing the sprints and was on relays. Next thing you know, she's swimming in college. Who just starts as a freshman and then makes it to a college team? So, some listeners are going to kind of hate you because other people are like starting from the get go. You graduate college, and now it's just like, well, shoot, I can do more stuff. I don't have to swim and stare at a boring black line. I can actually swim outside and do some other things, add some running, add some biking or wherever. So now it's just kind of evolving, and you're just adding more and more volume, distances, and challenges, is what it sounds like, Catherine.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. After college, I was like sad. I was going to miss the
Mm.
competition part. I was like, that's it. Like, no more races, no more challenges, nothing else to strive for. And then I did my first sprint with a friend, and then I was like, this is it. I'm hooked. Got a road bike, and the races just got longer and harder, and yeah, I just
Just
never
so,
stopped.
for the
So
audience, so they
yeah.
know, how far are the 3 legs in a sprint triathlon?
Oh, and a sprint is super quick. I think it's like an 800-meter swim,
12
like a
mile
12
bike.
mile bike, and then
Okay.
a 5K. Could do in like an
Now,
hour.
now,
Too
Cathy,
fast.
I've seen. Went back and looked up, and I saw you ran the Marine Corps full marathon in DC a number of times, and I've done about six,
Yeah.
7 half marathons in a prior life in my early 30s. And I thought if I ever did a full, I would do the Marine Corps because it's in DC, and basically just running through town, looking at all the different monuments is my understanding. So I'm like, and the Marines are there, and you sort of support the military, which is a huge thing for me. So it looks pretty fun if you can get past the idea of running 26 miles in the same day for some reason. So, but Cathy, you've been doing other endurance components, not just swimming, for quite a while, right?
Yes, yes, yeah. My favorite race is the Ironman, so I'm trying to get to Hawaii next year for the Ironman. I figure I have one good one left. So that's 2.4 mile swim, 112-mile bike, and 26.2 run.
That's in Kona, right? Kona.
Yeah, so actually they changed it. So this year it was last Saturday in Nice, and I've done that course too. It's very hilly. And they divided it so that the men and women are different. So every other year the men do Kona, every other year the
Okay.
women do Kona. So hopefully they put it back together again soon because I think it's fun when everyone goes off on one gun and you're just all racing
Of the
together.
3 legs, which is your favorite? Come
All
on.
three. All
You don't have
three.
a
Bullshit.
favorite. Come
I
on.
love all three. I
No.
love all three. My bike got kind of messed up this year because I purchased a new bike. And I finally, Catherine got sized, and I had the last 3 days have been phenomenal. I've done 35 to 40 miles and just hammered it. And I always was a runner. My dad always said the two things in life that I should have been was just a marathon runner and a deep diver, where you go down and hold your breath for like about 4 miles. So for me, for the best feeling is the swim. If you get in that mode of where the water is with you and it works with you, I don't breathe heavy at all coming out of a swim. So that was where that course I took that I told you, Tony's course, will change your swimming completely.
So there's hope. I did purchase those
So
courses, and I haven't been through it. Some of the things you're already pointing out to do, the guy that's been coaching me was pointing out a lot of the same things. Instead of fighting your body mechanics, gliding and using the overall momentum. But it's a completely foreign workout training program for me from what I've done for most of my life. So that's awesome. The amount of volume you got to do to get ready for a full Ironman or even a half. Like how many hours a day, how many hours a week are we talking here for you guys?
I probably training is probably a little bit more easier for me, Catherine, because you're in New York City. I asked her, I'm like, how do you train living in the city?
Oh, it's so easy.
It is you because Central Park, I guess, right? Yeah. But see, for me, the swimming for me is great because I have the ocean that way 1 mile, 2 pools that way 7 miles, Olympic sized pools, and then I have Styles Pond. Like right now, we're having shark sightings, so we can just go to the pond. We're still swimming in the pond, and that's over and back, like 2,400 yards, 2,400 meters. So we just do it double. And when I'm getting ready for an Ironman, when I was getting ready for the Navy SEAL swim, like you, I was trying to do 3 miles every time I got in the pool. Very boring, but just getting in there and doing the distance. And I did that for probably about 3 weeks prior. And now I'm just doing, because Worlds in 2 weeks in Spain is an Olympic distance. So it's the 1 mile swim, the 24.8 bike, and the 10K run. So I'm swimming about 2,200 meters, but trying to hammer it every time I get in the pool. Because that's my claim to fame. I usually get out in the top. At Nationals this year, I didn't. They had us go off and then called us back because we were just about to get into the water and then we couldn't see the buoys. And then Tim called us to go back in 23 minutes later. I'm like, Tim, dude, I can't see the first buoy. So I had to keep stopping, lifting my goggles. I couldn't see the buoys to turn. So I'm really looking forward to Spain because I usually get out of the water top 3. So, but yeah, once you get into that pattern on swimming, your breathing's going to be a whole lot easier.
If you're watching this recording, I don't know if you noticed Catherine's eyes get really big when Cathy mentioned the sharks. And if you know anything about Cathy's bio, I'm sure no one does because I'm the only one here with it other than Lucas. Catherine loves sharks. Why don't you talk about that a little bit in your bike as well?
Yeah, so my nickname in with Team Red, White, and Blue is Nemo. Is all a joke when my mom told a story about how when I was little, like 6, she knew it was me swimming in the pool because I would swim and like my one arm was just like a little half stroke, like a Nemo fin. And when you tell like military guys a story, you're gonna get your nickname out of it. So I'm like at West Point. It was a West Point try. I'm like, I'm going to get my parents food, be a good daughter. They came and cheered me on. And meanwhile, my mom's telling everyone this story. And then my mom's like, oh, it's like a little Nemo fin. So I come back like, Nemo. I'm like, what did you just tell them? And oh my God. So that's my nickname to this day. But when I got my new tri bike, I named it Bruce, which is the shark from Finding Nemo. So it's like Bruce and Nemo. But the other thing too is I don't know if I'm allowed to say my villain.
Go ahead.
Story, but my greatest villain I put on there is Jaws. Because the other thing too is when I was a kid, my sisters and I thought it was a good idea to watch all the Jawses in a row. And like to this day, I still have nightmares of like sharks eating people and stuff. But it's just a joke because I love the ocean. I love swimming in open water. And like I even have a stuffed animal of Bruce from Nemo. Silly to say on this recording, but yeah, so I have a thing with sharks. So when you said sharks, I was like,
I'm surprised that you do the Navy SEAL swim because we just jump and we're out there in open water.
Believe me, I know.
And you can't see 2 feet. If you put your hand,
it's black when you look in the water. It's black.
See I always say when you're triathletes like us, you have to have that craziness about you because we'll go anywhere. We'll do anything. We'll swim anywhere. We just go.
So we had Kenny Bigby on. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's a SEAL. He was in Bill Brown's boat crew along with David Goggins. And so he mentioned that, hey, you need to talk to Bill and have him on the show. And Kenny relayed the story about one of the earlier times that they had the SEAL swim, because this year was year 6. So a few years ago, he calls up Kenny, hey, Kenny, you got to come on out here. And Kenny goes, because Kenny was researching, he goes, Bill, there's bull sharks in the river. Now, sharks are in the ocean, but the Hudson River is a river. It's fresh water, but bull sharks will come up and in the fresh water and be fine.
Yes.
And Kenny's like, there's no fucking way I'm coming in up there, for that. There's no way, but Bill got him to do it, and he came and did it. So, Catherine, if sharks are a little bit of a concern for you, and they're an enormous concern for me, how do you deal with that?
They're just like, even though during swimming, I was an ocean lifeguard at Ortley Beach in New Jersey. Even like I would watch Shark Week. I don't know why. I would watch Shark Week in August and still go lifeguard. And as I'm swimming my laps, I'm like, what if a shark was to bite on my leg right now? What did I hear in Shark Week? Oh, punch it in the nose. And those are the thoughts going in my head as I'm swimming. I'm like, well, if I'm going to go this way, it's the way I'm going to go. If a shark's going to eat me, it's going to eat me. Yeah, I'm terrified. Thinking about it all the time.
But just keep going forward. That's it.
Yeah.
I think it makes us swim faster.
Yeah.
How cold?
It's like living on the inside, like adrenaline rush.
The adrenaline gets your heart pumping, and it makes me a little nervous about that even more because it eats up more oxygen. How cold was the water that day? And then what are some other cold swims? Because you said this triathlon's even colder, so I want to do that one. On that day,
it was 74. It was 74.
Yeah.
The water was beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah.
This pool that I'm at, they keep it at, I swear to God, 88 degrees. It's awful. 88. I'm like, what's going on? And then they have these folks that are there for water aerobics. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, good for them is right. Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
It's for them.
Good for them.
Yeah.
So 74. Yeah. But what are some other cold water swims you guys have done?
I've done Alcatraz twice. The Alcatraz is 48 to 52. Man, you swim fast in that one.
And that has sharks.
Yes. But 2007 when I did it, that's when I crashed and shattered all the bones in my neck. That year when I did it, they're like, sharks, you never see sharks out here. So I crashed, broke all these bones. I said, that's it. I got to go back. So I went back, did the race in 2008. And then it was 2009 that the shark came up on the dock and got the sea lion. And in 2007, when we did the race, there was a dead whale in the middle of the ocean. And you jump off the barge right in front of Alcatraz, and you have to swim across and then down towards the Golden Gate Bridge. So you don't just swim the 0.9 miles across. You go down. It's like about a 1.7. The water was so cold, Jim, that when I got out, I felt like I was running on the big ball bowling balls for the entire time, because it's like a mile run back to your bike at the transition. And I never warmed up on that entire bike. That water was so cold. So that was probably pretty cold. But I think, Cathy, wasn't it cold? It was cold when I did the SOS race. I thought a couple of the lakes were pretty chilly.
Yeah, that was another one. So SOS is Survival of the Shawgunks. That's the one I did last year. It's an 8-stage triathlon. So you bike 30 miles, and then you run, swim, run, swim, run, swim, run. It's 4 runs and 3 swims, but you have to run and swim with your cabin goggles and your shoes. So when you swim, people stuff their shoes behind their pants and their shirts. You got to carry your shoes, and then you got to run and put your shoes on. But the lakes are cold. It's up in upstate New York. It's freshwater lakes. And then you're running through the woods. So that was my new challenge last year. Oh, I loved it.
I loved it. And when you run through the woods, the rock climbers, they're climbing these rocks, and they're looking down at you going, what's that chick in the bikini running? Because I wore a 2-piece, so I could shove one down my bra and a sneaker down my back. So I had the 2-piece on, and I'm running through the woods, and I went without goggles because I didn't want to carry goggles. And you don't bring your water. You can just open up your mouth and drink the water. It's so pure. I just drank the water in the lakes for my nutrition. And I just opened up my mouth and go. Yeah. So that one was really fun, but there's just I could. Have you ever done any other colder waters? Of course, up here it's always cold in May. The
Old
water's
front
like
waters. I did their Coney Island triple dip. I don't know if they have that. It was like a mile, a 5K or 10K, and it was like a hurricane that came through, and like I went in and 2/3 of the people came right out. And I ended up doing the 10K swim, which is a 6.2 mile swim. I've never done that swim. It was just back and forth by Coney Island, but it was so rough. Like it was back and forth. So one way you're great, but the other way, like you were barely even moving. You're looking at the houses, you're like, they're not moving. And it's like you're in your head because you kind of passed like the start point a couple times, but that race was right after Diana Nyad was trying to swim from Cuba to Florida, and I'm like, if this lady can swim like 90 miles, I can swim 6. So I just
Yeah.
like kept going. But it was that was like one of the hardest races I've done.
wow.
And like, but 2/3 of the people like went and came out and didn't even finish because they were the rough, the currents. Like that was a challenge.
So the
for
colder
sure.
ones, Alcatraz, you gotta be wearing a wetsuit, right? So
Yeah.
talking to Jeff Gum, you guys all know him, right? Jeff Gum
Mhm.
runs Sunga
Yep.
Life, the bathing suits that you guys all get, except for Cathy. She decided I want to wear green
Yep.
that day. She done it. She was, I don't care. And I said, so, because I was at New York City also the day before the event occurred, and I hadn't been. I want to go up the Statue of Liberty and see some things. So I did the touristy thing, get on the ferry, head over there, walk up the Statue of Liberty, all that jazz. And it was so windy that day. You know, waves were really high. They're crashing, crashing, crashing. And I was like, shit, man, tomorrow could be kind of something. Like, you know, they might not be moving very well. And luckily it all calmed down. And I saw Jeff the next morning before they kicked off. And I asked him, I said, you know, if you were here yesterday, you probably saw the waves. And he goes, I did Alcatraz once. The waves were just like yesterday. All I had was a Speedo. That was it. Nothing else. You get hit in the face with every wave like you're getting punched. If I can handle that, I'm sure I can handle this shit. So it's that frame of reference that I've done something else hard before. I'll probably be okay again. And you have those mental reps of persevering. So then you keep building up that what's Goggins said, you callous your mind so you're stronger mentally. The mental
Mental
calluses.
balance.
So sounds like
Yeah.
you guys have tons of mental calluses and a little bit of craziness between the
Yeah.
two of you, right? Anything else outside of that realm though, like you know, skydiving, extreme race, snowboarding? You guys are just adrenaline junkies. You guys just can't be like everybody else
Yeah.
and drink bourbon.
Making
You know, you guys just gotta find some other kind of drug.
I love snowboarding. I did my first pond skimming a couple years ago, where it's like kind of the end of the season, and you like go down a hill really, really, really fast, and you skim across water. So like that, I was terrified to do that, but that was so exciting. I'm like, okay, I gotta go as fast as I can to make it across this pond. I'm like either gonna wipe out or I'm gonna make it. Those are the two things that are gonna happen. I made it. I went so fast, but my heart was pounding so fast. It was so exciting. I have that video. I keep looking at the video. It's so exciting.
So it's either win or lose,
Yeah.
huh? And those are good odds for
Yeah,
you.
pretty much. Yeah.
Kind of like
Yeah.
skydiving. It's either live or die. Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Something like that.
I still jumped out of a plane yet. I've taken the 2 to free fall. I've taken both classes, 3-day classes. I have I have gone up so many times and inclement weather's come in and I haven't been able to do it. Mike used to do it all the time, my late husband. So now I do indoor skydiving, which is a blast. It's so much fun. If you haven't done it and you want that fear of what it feels like. But Catherine, when you go to Australia next year, I'll probably go too because I'm sure it's going to drop down now. We hit New Zealand every time we go, and we
Oh,
go
yeah.
down to Queenstown. And you got to do, Buddy Hackett's right from there, AJ Hackett, Buddy. So you got to do all his bungee jumping.
Yeah.
And we did parapunting where you jump with the guy's harnessed on your back, and he runs off a cliff. And he tells you in the video, all you see is, do I stop my legs yet? And I'm in the air and I'm still kicking my legs like I'm running. And it's unbelievable. I think once you start doing this stuff, you get that adrenaline blood about you and you just got to keep doing it. I mean, I'm 62 and it hasn't changed. My dad was going to jump out of a plane with me 2 years ago and then he, died suddenly. But he was going to go and jump out of a plane. So it's in the family blood. But I think we're always looking, like Catherine said, we're always looking for that bigger, better, interesting race to do, or that bigger, better thing. You know, like I did the figure competitions. I can't do that diet. I like my chocolate too much, and I like to have a cocktail every once in a while. And man, that diet, I give you guys credit for that. I've done it twice, and I'm like, I don't know how you have the discipline to eat that way.
Yeah, that was
So,
definitely
So, Catherine, you did your
yeah.
first figure competition this year, completely different sport than triathlons. Triathlons is shovel in food and go as long as you can, right? Shovel and go, shovel and go. Yeah, put it all in there, right? Michael Phelps said his caloric intake was around 14,000 calories daily back when he was competing, right?
Yep.
When you're doing figure competitions like you and Lucas did bodybuilding recently, you know, I don't want to speak for you, Catherine, but I gotta imagine you could be a little cranky around people when you're being restrictive for so long.
No, my coach was great. The food was fine. I had the diet plan. He changed it. I was never like starving. I mean, I was eating like 5 or 6 meals a day. So it was kind of in the beginning, you're like, oh my God, I have to eat again. Like you're eating every 2, 3 hours. Like you're eating a lot of meals to get in, like, 25 grams of protein a meal. But it was just strict. It was the same food every day for like weeks, like months, like 2 or 3 months, same food. But you're just like, every calorie counts. It's for a reason. Like, every now and then I would slip and have a cookie. It's just, I love cookies, but
Very
very
strict.
strict. I mean, really strict. But different, I like seeing the building the muscle and the outcomes. But yeah, I was very strict with the food, going with friends and like eating before and not very social, right? It's very like selfish sport because like you have to eat and train on your own, whereas triathlons, you can swim and bike and run with friends and eat with your friends and eat whatever. So it was kind of a lot more lonelier, but I really enjoyed the journey. Posing, like I don't wear heels, but 5-inch hooker heels, holy crap. I'm walking around my apartment like a couple of days a week, just getting used to them.
That
Like,
made her 6'6".
yeah, I was a giant, giant. But yeah, and then again, another adrenaline rush. Before I walked on the stage, my heart was literally pounding out of my chest. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, I'm gonna be on stage all by myself. Everyone's looking at me at this skimpy bikini, heels, and doing this posing thing. Like, whoa. Like, that was definitely an
You guys
adrenaline
are,
rush.
yeah, you're right. You're wearing next to nothing, and you're getting judged on 100% on how you look and how you pose. You should have seen Lucas wearing the heels. They look good for him though,
That's
right?
not fair. You guys can wear bare feet. That's
Yeah.
not fair. Why can't we wear going bare feet?
Yeah, my heels got me to 6 foot.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
the for either of you guys, I don't guess. I'm guessing that the bodybuilding figure competition is not really a big thing going forward, right? It's fun to do once or twice, but it's not really the thing you're looking to do. Cathy's already out. She said,
Yeah.
No, I'm actually kind of, Catherine, oh, you did this to me. I saw hers and I went, you know what? I should just do this one more time in honor of Mike. So John Cena was just in my friend's store. He, as you know, him and Mike were good
I
friends,
love
and he came in. And I'm like, you know what? I think I got one more of those left in me too. So I've already kind of started dieting because I wanted to get like about 5 pounds off for World so I can run my sub 8 minute miles. And I like that diet. I pretty much stay on a bodybuilding diet, but I sneak in my cookies and my chocolate because I felt so good on it. And I did 6 months of dieting like that. And I just did the same thing every day: scrambled eggs, a little bit of oatmeal, my protein drink, my fist sized protein at lunch with a little bit of salad and my asparagus. Repeat that at nighttime. Have a half a sweet potato every once in a while. And I mean, I got ripped and ready for that show 10 years ago, and I loved it. And when I look at Catherine's abs, I'm like, that's it. I'm doing a competition because Catherine's got some rocking abs.
Worked hard for them.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we dropped him today as Kyle Maynard, and if you guys know him at all, Jeff Gum introduced him to us, and he's done some endurance things, some mountaineering, like Mount Kilimanjaro, 19,000 feet, 22,000 foot, the tallest peak in South America. I can't remember the name, Akanga maybe, something like that, Mountain Akanga. Anyways, long story short, bestseller at 18, ESPY award winner, ESPN documentary. The fella has done jujitsu and competed nationally. He's born where his arms end at the elbow and his legs
Wow.
end at the knee. He was born that way. So when he's fighting people in jujitsu, he's just fighting people, not someone else with the same issues. He's just fighting people, and he's winning, right? And so when he climbs Mount Kilimanjaro, I'm sure you guys have done or seen someone do a bear crawl in football. Like that's what he does. That's what he did.
Yeah.
Like when I'm hiking, I got the trekking poles. I got everything. I need all the help, right?
Yeah.
This dude's bear crawling all the way up to 19,000 and separately to 22,000. And that's all he was God given. No hands at the end of his arms, no feet, nothing like that helping him out. Just his title of his book, No Excuses, right? And has his own documentary. So another great outcome from going out to that event, other than meeting you two ladies, but you guys should check him out. The point is this: I was going to ask, do you guys do any mountaineering or anything like that, or any type of extreme treks like that? 40 miles, 50 mile, 100-mile race, anything crazy like that? Because you guys seem, unlike everybody else I ever dated, with you, the answer seems to be yes to everything. To every question I ask, the answer seems to be yes.
Catherine, you'd be good because you're still really young. You should look at the Legend 100, and you have to have. I'll come be your support. You have to have support because you go out. It's like a 24-hour race. You would be phenomenal at that.
Yeah, I've done like the Ragnar races, right, where it's like a relay and you camp out and everyone does turns like running a leg, like a loop, but they're just like 8, 6, 7 mile loops. But it's like a 24-hour thing, and you just like race throughout the night and stuff.
Yeah, no, you should do the
Crazy.
Legend 100. You'd probably win it. You'd be really good at it. The only problem is you got to wake up like at 2 a.m. and go for long runs because you have to be out there for the 24 hours. I got a quick funny story if I can tell you. So Mikey G, who owns all the health food stores, he's done a marathon on every single continent in every single country. He's incredible. And he'd be someone good to have on your show. But him and I've been racing together since the late 80s. And we were sponsoring this one guy, and he was doing the 50 miler. We have one here in New Hampshire, Mass. If you want to do that one, let me know. I'll hook you up. And he was doing the 50 miler, and he's like, Mikey, I just got to sleep. Just let me sleep for a couple hours. Just let me sleep. So Mikey's like, okay, lie down. So he gives him like 10 minutes. He looks at his watch and he's like, Marty, come on. You've been sleeping for 4 hours. Come on. You're going to lose. We got to get you up. Literally only had 10 minutes worth of sleeping, and he got up and he just continued. It was so funny. I'm like, Mikey, you're so mean. But things like that are great. Yes, I do. I run out Mount Washington. Yesterday I was climbing all the trees in the apple orchard. I'm one of those ones that I will never grow up. My husband's like, oh my God, get down. You're going to break a bone. Something bad's going to happen to you. Catherine, I don't know if you saw my Facebook post.
I did.
When I got down and my coat got caught, my daughter and granddaughter were losing it. I jumped down out of the tree and my coat stayed in the tree. It was so funny. But yeah, I'm never going to grow up. Matter of fact, Dave was supposed to pull the ladders out today. I'm getting up on top of the roof to clean all the skylights myself, and it's a pitch like this. I'll blame myself to a tree on the other side of the house. I have no fear. None whatsoever.
Talk about how, with all that you guys been doing physically, talk about, you said you guys have to have a lot of food. But Catherine says that she's plant-based, and Cathy, I don't think that you are. Talk about how you guys get enough protein and enough fuel to give yourself enough energy to do what you guys do. We'll start with Catherine, who does less plants for some crazy reason.
I watched Game Changers, and it was a game changer. So I don't know if you've heard of Game Changers, but it's like that documentary on Netflix where it's all these athletes that are performing better, recovering faster when they stop eating meat. And it was COVID. I lived by myself, so I just was like, oh, let me just give this a shot. I'm cooking everything I'm eating. I'm alone. So I did it, and I was like, my squats were high. I was getting my PRs on squats. I ran the half marathon in Atlantic City, fastest time ever. Wasn't sore the next day. Like, I was just, I've never looked back. So I've been stronger and faster. I get a lot of protein. It's like tofu, I eat a little bit of fish, but I still do egg whites, right? So it's like plant-based. You just kind of everything in moderation. But yeah, I mean, I was using my Fitness Pal to make sure I was getting enough protein in there too, just quickly logging stuff in. And with my meal plan now with coach too, like even when I start with him, I'm like, I'm plant-based, I don't eat meat. He's like, oh, because everyone asks me like, how are you getting all your protein? Figure competitor, like how much chicken is? I'm like, I don't eat meat.
Right.
Like, oh, how are you getting your protein? It's always the same thing. I was like, no, I mean, I was getting like 170 grams of protein. I'm like 140. Wow. So I was definitely getting enough protein.
No shake, no shakes at all.
But yeah, I had one protein shake. Well, I had protein powder in my oatmeal. So I mean, if you want to call that a shake. And I was doing egg whites and a big salad and tofu, tempeh, rice, quinoa, avocado, cauliflower. I was definitely getting enough protein. But yeah, I mean, when you're an athlete too, right? Food is fuel. Food is fuel. Everyone says that, but it is. Like, if you got a good hard workout tomorrow, you're not gonna eat crap. You want to do good on your training, so you eat well.
I've seen these guys; they'll be running a race, and I was talking to them, or they'll come talk to me afterwards, and their times are way off. And they say they kind of bonked a little bit. I go, "What happened?" He goes, "I usually eat this and this the night before and the day of. I got behind, I got late, so I didn't get nearly the amount of calories. I did plenty of prep, I got plenty of sleep, I did months and months to get ready for this event, and just in that 24-hour period of not giving themselves enough fuel, and it kind of fucked the whole deal for them,
Yep.
Right.
Fuel or water, then if it's a hot week, you didn't drink enough the night before, you're dehydrated and you're done, and maybe you're even cramping now. So it makes a big difference.
How about you, Cathy? Yeah. Cathy, are you just all chocolate all the time to get ready for your races and stuff?
So I'm a lot like Catherine. I'm not a meat eater just because I don't like it. Never really have. My parents used to go and buy the cow at Hilltop, and we grew up on the meat and the potatoes, and it was like, oh. I eat a lot of fish because I live right here. We can go right to the docks and get it. I eat a lot of egg whites. I love eggs. If you put me on an island with dark chocolate, egg whites, and probably raspberries, I could live the rest of my life. So I'm a huge fruit eater, and I make a huge fruit salad every day. I make a huge salad every night at dinner. I don't eat nuts because a lot of them come from like the third world countries. By the time you get them, they have mold. Like my husband tends to buy those Tate cookies, and every time he buys one that has like the walnut in it and I take a bite, I can taste the mold. So I'm huge about staying away from nuts and lentils and stuff. So I pretty much try to do salads. Protein is mostly egg whites. And like last week, I think I did mostly egg whites the whole week. And, I threw in a couple yolks. I'll do like 6 egg whites and 2 yolks, whip up an omelet, throw in some asparagus, a little bit of Gouda cheese, throw it in some nice, maybe Dave's healthy bread. I just incorporated bread back into my diet. I wasn't eating bread at all. So I think with all the training I'm doing, I needed more grains, But I'm a lot like Cathy, although I do like chicken. And if I do eat meat, we go up to this place called Carl's, and we'll get, only the grass-fed meat, and we'll get fillets, and we'll do that maybe one day a month, and we'll have a nice fillet.
You have a number of years. I'm not calling either one of you old, but you have a number of years of data, of reference points. I know I need this many hours of sleep. I know this many liters or gallons of water to get ready for this event or do this much volume of training. And Catherine's like, hey, I need at least 170 grams of protein. I weigh 140, right? So that's 1.3 times body weight in grams per pound, right? So it's obviously important to have those measurables so you know how you perform. And it takes a number of times to kind of figure that out. Man, the first time I ran a marathon, I needed this. I tried it out and I was okay. I'm trying it again. Okay. 2 times in a row, 3 times in a row. All right, this program seems to be working. Then, life throws you a curveball as you're 10 years older and you're like, shit, I probably need a little bit more, or I need a little bit less running because my joints are this and that. So you're always changing that. But the point is, you got to keep notes in some kind of log or journal on how you're performing and how you're recovering and how you're eating, because all that matters. There's this constant moving target, and you are the moving target because you're the athlete. You need to keep constant notes so you can decide, hey, what do I need to adjust this week? I know if I hit these numbers, I should be okay. And it sounds like you guys have kind of figured out that, that's the art that goes along with the science of training as an athlete. You guys do it all on your own? You had coaches, or how's that come along for you guys?
Yeah, the triathlon training, I just have done it with a bunch of friends and kind of on my own. But I did have a coach for the figure competition and prep because that was very strict, obviously with the food and stuff. But I do keep a Google Sheets of all my races and times and like what I ate in it and what's
There you
in there.
go.
So
That's that
it helps.
knowledge component for
Yeah.
being an athlete. You have to learn about yourself and how you handle things. Yep.
Yep.
Cathy, let me ask you a different question, completely different direction. And you sent me this picture of your daddy, and he's swimming, and he's covered in grease, like real axle grease. He's, white guy, he looks black because he's covered in all this grease, right? Talk about, and
Yeah,
oh yeah,
and Rick.
jacked, right? He's a Hall of Fame swimmer. So talk about that part
Yeah.
of his life and what that was, and how that growing up with him as your dad kind of like molded you as the swimmer athlete that you are now.
Most incredible person in my life. And nothing against my mom, but my mom had a little bit of probably a different upbringing than him, so a little bit of probably mental illness there, if you'd say. Later on in life, had to get on Prozac. But my dad he was just my rock. Like, my cousin called me at his funeral 2 years ago, and she said, "I'm so sad that I can't make it to Uncle Roy's funeral." She said, "But I have to tell you one story." And she said, "I remember one time when you were younger and something bad had happened and your mom was upset about something and you stormed out of the house and I was visiting and your father went running down the street and sat you down on a fence and talked to you for like an hour." He was just my rock. My father, I can't even explain it. And everybody will tell you because they worked my store for me when I was out, doing personal training or working at my cleaning business. And my father's funeral was just packed because everyone loved him. So, with that said, just my dad being my dad, but he was my biggest. I remember swimming at nationals and him up on the deck at Springfield College. Just I could see him up there going, "Go, go," like he was my biggest cheerleader. And I think more so for me than my brothers because my mom didn't really know how to get along with a daughter, if you will. So he was just my rock. And I never heard my dad swear. I never heard my dad say a bad word about anyone. I never saw my dad drink until my mom died. He asked the doctor if he could have a beer. And he's like, "My wife wouldn't let me drink." I mean, he was just incredible. He came over to the house with Dave and I and played cards with us 5 nights a week. And then I'd send him home with food. And um, I don't know. He was one of those ones that said, if people are talking about you, it's because they're jealous of you, because otherwise they wouldn't talk about you. So he taught me that from a young age. Because, I think people like Catherine and I probably got a little bit bullied. I don't know if you got bullied, but I kind of did because I was into fashion. I had a Mustang in high school. I was a go-getter, and I was an athlete, but yet I was out in the smoking lounge smoking my cigarettes. So, I kind of was, and then having my brothers, they were in sports, they were pretty popular. So it kind of made me a little bit popular. And then I kind of got bullied a little bit. And my dad always used to be there for me. It was like he was my best friend that I didn't have. So, and he taught me how to work young. He was literally carrying ice when he was 10 years old to help the family out. And he joined the army and went to the Korean War instead of going to the Olympics to help his family out. And so I started working when I was 14 years old, all through high school. And I just had that work ethic. And, I didn't get back into sports until I was in my early 30s. And my daughter was kind of hitting her teenage years and didn't need me that much because I had her when I was in the Marine Corps when I was 22. So, yeah, so I think that he was the backbone of everything that I pretty much did in my life. And there isn't a day that goes by that I don't miss that man. And my husband says it too. He goes, every time I put money in my change thing, he goes, it brings a tear to my eye because I think of him playing poker with him every night. So, yeah, I'm so lucky that I had a dad that brought me up. And because there's so many kids out there that don't have their dads,
Sometimes they do, but they're not present. Bring the story full
Yeah.
circle and explain why that picture he's covered in that axle grease.
So back then they didn't have wetsuits, and he used to do the 5 mile Pike to Peak,
Mm-hmm.
Pikes Peak, swim, and I've done that in the Maine. That'd be a fun one for you, Kathy. It's right up there in the Portland, Maine harbor, and 2 times, I think 7 times he did it total. 2 times he got hypothermia, so they covered themselves in axle grease because they didn't have wetsuits back then. I don't know what the scuba divers did because scuba diving became really big in the 40s, and this was 49 to 53, I think was on that picture, right?
Yeah.
The one I sent you. So, yeah, and he was captain of the team, and I watched my dad swim. I took him to the Portsmouth pool, 12 arm lengths in a 25-meter pool. I'm at 21 still, and that's with gliding. 12 arm lengths. I'm like, how do you swim like that? And he just made swimming so unbelievably smooth. It was unbelievable. They all did. There was 4 of them that were in the Hall of Fame.
Oh man.
But yeah. So axle grease. Catherine, I'll have to text you that picture. It's awesome.
That's a crazy story. That they don't realize that the axle grease helps keep you insulated a little bit, keeps your heat in. Then you got to figure out how to get it off, because it's not just water. It's tons of soap trying to get that off when you're done.
Yeah, he said a lot of it because of the salt water. Because I did ask him that question. He said a lot of it did get washed off because you're swimming 5 miles.
Gotcha.
So,
Catherine, I love the home decoration you got going on there. It's like a little Toys R Us bike store for like legit athletes, and it turns out that the athletes that really care about their bikes are like their dogs or their families. They want to make sure they're in a nice climate controlled environment. So just give people a little idea, the technology. Like I've done back in 2011 or 11 maybe 12. I did this a sprint triathlon. I'm just doing it just to say I finished. The bike I got was $500 bike, and it's you're upright. I'm surprised there wasn't a basket and a bell on the front, but. I thought, man, I could probably fit some food on here if I had like a little banana seat, and sit back with some saddlebags. But that equipment alone, like, it's not cheap, right? It's not like it's just, it might be a cheaper hobby just to be on cocaine, but here, like these, you're traveling, you got these entrance fees, then you got to buy the gear and all the food. Talk about like that level of commitment, just financially, to be at that high level. You're competing at 2 different world championships this year.
Yeah, no, it is. I've come a long way, right? So I started off with my first road bike, after college, $1,200 road bike, still have it. It's just a good, ride around the city, couple rides with people, and I did both my Ironmans on that. So again, I know. I haven't even done a full Ironman on my tri bike, which is crazy. But again, it was $1,200 bike, back then. That was a lot. I was just out of college, so I didn't have money to buy a $9,000 bicycle, right? I mean, like the average price of a bike now is around that much. Electronic shifting, everything's more aerodynamic. So, I mean, you could put as much money into it as you want or not. I mean, you can get a used bike, but yeah, if you want a new one, the wheels are an extra, 12 grand. The 1,200, sorry, an extra 1,200. So, it's a $10,000 bike with everything in pedals. You got to get the power meter. It's an extra $1,000, right? So, and it's just knowing all the numbers and statistics. How can I get faster? Do you want an aerodynamic helmet? It's all about aerodynamics. But yeah, I mean, the tri bikes being an arrow, trying to crouch down and be as less wind resistant as possible. It's very different than on a road bike.
You're going to need a lot of those exceeds expectations quarterly reviews from your boss to get those bonuses to make enough money to go out there and live that habit. Unless you guys have some type of sponsors at some point. Yep.
No.
She's young. You're young. You could still get them. I used to be sponsored by Mavic and then Oakley. So, but I was as fast as she was at that age. Now I'm older. They don't care about us oldies. But yeah, you should look into that too, especially being in the city.
Yeah.
Just reach out. And the only thing is you'd have to just make sure that you put on your uniform their little sticker or whatever. But that would really help you out.
Yeah, that's an option. But it's fun doing Zoom calls from my apartment because everyone sees the bikes. I'm like, that's how you know I live in New York City. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. Where else are you going to put your bikes? Hanging from the ceiling.
I think it looks rocking. I love the artwork. Mine's up against my other dining room over there, and everyone walks in and they're like, "That's your baby." Well, going back to when you were asking her, Jim, you're right. You have to keep these in a temperature controlled, because my bike, I just paid 13 grand and haven't even got my speed play digital pedals yet. Yeah, so I've got to get those. That's another grand. But and then my the aero bars they put on there, somehow that's another 500. But it stays in my house now. And when I'm not riding this winter, batteries are coming out, because we have the electronic shifting. So you got to charge it like your phone once a month or every 1,000 miles. Batteries are coming out, and I'll leave it upstairs because I have a Peloton that I love. I will do the trainer too, but I love my Peloton. So, but yeah, we have to keep it. And I'll tell you, I didn't know that. And I got on my bike after 12 years of not racing, and it was an SEI Kestrel Ironman edition. I left it out in the garage. I got on that bike and I'm like, I oiled the chain a little bit. I thought that's all I had to do. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with this bike? I can't move. And come to find out, I had to have everything. Like he couldn't even get the pedals off. He had to crank them off because they were in the garage where it's not temperature controlled. So yeah, that's a lesson we should get out there to other triathletes. Don't leave your bike in the garage.
You guys have like little birthday parties and gifts and things, or put gifts underneath the tree for Christmas for your bike. Maybe a new sticker, new handlebar. Little gifts that you guys.
No stickers on my bike.
You ever feel like you need something new? Like I got a new wetsuit this year, and I used it in nationals, which was I love it.
Yeah.
So but it's expensive. I mean, the wetsuit I got it on sale, but $400.
$400, yeah.
Yeah, but that ran for like 800. It was like half off. I mean,
is it a Synergy?
No, it was Stalefish.
Stalefish, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I like the Synergy. I have really broad shoulders, so I need the hinges. I need the hinges because otherwise I can't move. I usually am the one to go in the swim without a wetsuit because I hate swimming with the wetsuit.
Yeah, but it's such an advantage.
It is, and I found that out this year.
Advantage.
Yeah,
the triathlon wetsuits are different than surfing wetsuits. They help you be more buoyant. So, like, I were to swim against myself without a wetsuit. I mean, you're faster in a wetsuit.
Yeah,
in a triathlon wetsuit for sure.
Well, no successful path is linear. There's always some times when you just ramp up and start doing really well, and then there's usually some kind of setback every once in a while. Kind of overreach a little bit or injury. Any of those occur, whether you took a big tumble or injury or emotionally had a big setback. Talk about a time when you guys got knocked down and how you bounced back. What was your process for bouncing back? How did that go?
Do you want me to go, Cath? So mine was crashing in Alcatraz. And then right after that, the next year I went back to do it. And I went with Mike's sister at this point because he goes, "You're not going there alone again." Because I didn't know my name. I was in the hospital, San Francisco General Hospital. Thank God, two of my friends were at the race that said, "Where's her bike? Where's Cathy?" Called the hospital, came and got me. And San Francisco General didn't even know that I had 9 busted bones. So Mike came, picked me up. We left the next morning. I got to the airport. They're like, "We're not letting you on the plane like that." So I called my doctor, who's an athlete friend. "Dr. Cole, get me on this plane." He goes, "She's fine. She just has road rash." Got me on the plane, came home, went to Dr. Sirens the next day, Mass General in charge of trauma. He's the Patriots and the Bruins surgeon. And he looks back at me after looking at my x-rays and is like, "Are you in pain?" I go, "No, but it sucks to get out of bed." He goes, "You have 9 broken ribs on your right side. Like you're not even together." He goes, "You could have hit your aorta with one of the splintered ribs and you could have bled out on the plane in turbulence." I'm like, oh, I had no pain. But anyhow, go back the next year, I do it. It's one of the first races of the year. It's in June. At the end of the race, Mike tells me that he has cancer. And it was just such a blow to me that I was just like, oh God. And I couldn't race. He begged me to race. So I went back did nationals in 2011 because it was here in Burlington, Vermont. And I've always been top 5, top 6. I was like 48th. I'm like, that's it. I'm done. I can't race ever again. Then he died a couple months later and I just couldn't race. So that was really tough for me. So coming back has been really tough, but I'm starting to feel it now. Like I had phenomenal run today. David's like, "I didn't come down to the beach yet because I didn't expect you here already." I'm like, I think I just did like 7:30s for that whole 6 miles. I feel it coming back. So I think that you just have to get it in your head. It's an individual sport. It really is. Like you were saying that with figure competition, I think triathlon is too. You
Yeah,
can,
you do have a lot of support
yeah.
through. You have a lot of support, a lot more support. And you can like train and race your friends. Like, I mean, I have like no crazy stories like Cathy, obviously, but I've had a lot of like overtraining. You know, both my Ironmans, like IT band issues, right? And then it's like, okay, now you go to PT, and it's like, don't run as much. It's like, well, I have an Ironman in like 4 weeks, but sometimes it's a forced recovery. And I mean, both my Ironmans are super successful, but I did have one bike crash in Central Park. So like
Ugh.
Central Park is a huge training ground in the morning, every weekday morning, 5:30 a.m. to like 7. It is a huge gym. It's a 6 mile loop, and you have cycling groups, triathlon groups, running groups, everyone just biking and running. And over the years, you make friends. Just people by their bikes, right? The different running groups, and it's literally the world's largest gym. I love it. So one morning, it was a week before I was going to a training camp with a friend in Lake Placid. Started riding our bike. We were just going to do an easy ride because we're getting ready to leave for camp, in a couple days. Literally just started the ride, and two dogs were chasing each other and slammed into my drive side and like threw
Ugh.
me off the bike, and I like literally landed on my face. So I had like road rash all over my face. I mean, I was fine, barely even scratched my helmet, got up, went to the side, but my bike was pretty much totaled. And like that's not like I think I had New Jersey triathlon in a couple weeks too. So like the bike's totaled.
Oh no.
But it's like, you gotta be happy, you gotta think of the positive things, nothing's broken, it could have been worse, blah blah blah. But so I went to training camp too a couple days after. Took my road bike, it was like I have my road bike. It sucked because everyone's gonna have their tri bikes, everyone's Ironman training, and I got my dinky ass, super old vintage road bike. But I was just happy to be riding, happy to be alive, So long story short, I ended up suing the guy and getting a new bike, and I got him to pay for it.
Awesome.
16 months later, though, 16 months of court dates and a lot of paperwork. But yeah, I mean, it was his fault. Like, and your dogs in Central Park should be on a leash, and he
Yes.
wasn't off the leash. He ended up chasing another dog, crossing into the bike path. And, the cops came, fire trucks came, got a police report, and I ended up going to small claims and suing for like just under 10 grand. And I got everything. So it's a mindset. You can keep looking at the negative things. You're like, all right, everything's okay. I'm fine. On to the next thing. Slowly get better. It's fine. But it can really get
Gotcha.
you down there.
Love it.
I bet you that guy has those dogs on the leash now.
Yeah, I don't know. I always like look for him. I'm like, would I see this guy again? So,
I send out this questionnaire to help you guys like prepare for today and help me prepare with questions. And I loved Catherine's comment about teammates, and she said she's really good at being a sherpa. So for her teammates. So those that don't know, if you're climbing a major mountain, typically like Everest, they have local people that live there. They're referred to as Sherpas, and they're just like these pack mules. They're people that carry all this stuff because we're not good enough. We're not fit or strong enough to carry it ourselves. So they have to help out. They're carrying ladders and all these bags and all your gear because you're not. They just keep doing this as a living year after year. So, Catherine, talk about being a Sherpa for your teammats in the triathlon world. What's that mean to you and to them, and how's that play out? Because that's a huge piece of being a teammate.
it is. The last couple of years, I've been to Lake Placid as a Sherpa. Like my best friend, Colette, who I think Cathy you met, she was at the SEAL swim.
Hughes, yeah.
Yeah, her boyfriend Hugh actually is a SEAL. So like he swims in it, and she's my number one Sherpa. I carry the bike pump for her in the morning, whatever she needs. Carry her glasses, make sure she gets to the start. I mean, if she needs anything last minute, run. I mean, I volunteer for the Ironman, but I check out her bike. So when she finishes, her bike's in the hotel room, like all done, like ready to go. You just whatever they need. And it's just funny because like 2 years ago in Lake Placid, there was a lot of girls on our team that we train with, whatever. And there, like one girl, I was having lunch with Colette. The other girl, she's like, "Hey, I want to go for a quick bike ride, around Lake Placid." She got wheels put on, race day wheels. She's like, "Can you come with me?" Because, sometimes you don't want to ride outside of Lake Placid by yourself. And my friend's like, "She's got to pay for you." She's like, "You're my Sherpa. She's got to pay for your services." But I just love cheering my friends on, making sure everyone's good. They got what they need, whatever like run around. You need something last minute, I'll go get it. Like I just know race day nerves, last minute stuff. But it's a lot of work. Sherpaing, going around, you got to cheer them on. You got to take pictures too. That's another role of being a Sherpa. Like it's a serious job.
It's like
It really is. But I mean, I love making sure my friends are successful in their races.
it's like the ultimate, maid of honor for the wedding. But it's an all day deal, physically.
Yeah.
You're doing all the details so that other person can enjoy their day, right? So you're constantly having
Yeah.
to help out, and it's huge. It's huge because no one ever gets there alone. And like even if you're like my son Jack plays college football, like there he gets free tickets to games. So if there's more people that want them, well, not every kid goes. Every kid that goes to the games and plays, not all their parents travel, or not all their family can travel. Sometimes it's pretty far. So some of those kids don't utilize those free tickets. But some other parents will bring other people in the family, so they need more. So then you're kind of like trying to round up tickets. And if you're a pro athlete, that's just one piece of, hey, it's game day. I get to help out, do these other things. If you get if anyone take any of that stuff off your plate, it's just one less stressor. And one less stressor means you're going to have more ability to perform, right? So because your nervous system's, running on a full tank of gas. Cathy, how about you? You seem like your dad was your rock and your first husband. It sounds like your second husband as well. Like I'm sure you didn't get there alone. Talk
Oh,
about times when your teammates came through for you and you did the same.
Nationals last year, well, just to say that too, like in SOS, Catherine, you have to have someone because you dump your bike after 30 miles. You drive your bike 30 miles away and you never see the bike again until someone picks it up. So some races you have to do that. But I like what her and Claudette have going. Claudette said that she has done the same for you too. And I'm like, oh, that's
We're each other's Sherpas.
it's such a great idea. I love that.
We have a great community of girls that support each other. Like again, that's why I'm saying triathlon is more of a team sport.
Yeah. Well, so I got a couple examples. Last year at Nationals, I had such an awful race. Still had my old bike. I don't know what happened. I got out of the water, top 5, pulled in on the bike. I think I was like 8th. And then on the run, just one by one, all my friends are passing me going, you all right? And I'm like, just go. Don't, just go. I'll catch up. And then, so the next day I took myself out of the sprint as I did this year. I know my level. I know that I didn't want to get hurt. So I took myself out and I showed up at the race. This year I didn't because I just wanted to get home. But last year I showed up at the race and I cheered everyone on. And I went over there with Tim, the announcer, because him and I go way back. I don't know if you heard at the beginning, Catherine, when I go, Tim, is that you? Because we couldn't see through the fog. He goes, Cathy, is that you? We go back 27 years. So a lot of the girls I know from going back years with, but this last year, what happened a few weekends ago, all my friends called me and they were like, Cathy, you okay? What happened? Tracy said that you texted her and said you're out of the race. And I went into the transition and I just kind of went, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I didn't sleep again, didn't sleep for 3 nights. I'm like, I just can't do this. So I like local races. Like I love Lake Placid. I drive home when I've done that Ironman a couple of times. I drive home after that race and I drive up the night before. So if I'm going to lose one night of sleep, it's only the one night. But yeah, I think it's very important to have the support. And our age group is a tight knit age group because we've been training for many years. But what happened to me at the Title IX race, the weekend before Nationals, a girl came up to me and it was a time trial swim. So you go 2 at a time. And Tracy and I hang out in the back because we always get 1 and 2 there. So we hang out in the back and we just go last and we just have a blast swimming past everyone. And we're laughing because her and I get out of the swim the same time. We get off the bike the same time. And then I can usually outtake her in the run, but I'll run with her for a while. And this girl came up to both of us that had just aged up to our age group. And she was from Manchester, New Hampshire, and she had a fit. Now, this is an all-girl race. Everyone comes in. I do all the jewelry in the winner's bags. Like, it's just a tight-knit group. And there's 600 females doing the race. And this girl was just so pissed that I got first and Tracy got second. And she's like, I beat you. I came across the finish line before you. And I said, you know what? No problem. Let's go over to the timers. and no one was there. We pulled out her number, and I forgot to look at what time she went out. So I went up to Tim after, and I said, "You may want to clear this. She thinks she beat us, and I want the first place because we get points for the national rankings." I said, "If she got first, she should get the points." And then as I got to the parking lot, Tracy was putting her car in, and she goes, "That sucks. I'm no longer second. I got third." And I'm like, "Well, we don't know that yet." And then all of a sudden I looked at her and I go, "Wait a minute. You and I went out last. She went out at least 80 seconds before us because it was every 10 seconds. And she was like 1 and 2. And we were back at 80 seconds behind her. And I never saw the girl at nationals, but she said she was going to be at nationals. And I said to Tracy, I said, "Whoa, we might want to just tell her, look, it's an all-girl race. We all work together." And I tried to calm her down by saying, "Look, if you beat me, then you rightfully." But then I realized after she only beat me, she only crossed the finish line before me because she went out way ahead of us. So in the time trial races, it's pretty tough, but for the most part, I think that you always get one straggler that kind of is like, "I got to win and I got to be first." I'm like, hell, at this point, I just hope I get across the finish line without crawling like Paula Newby Frazier or Julie, whatever her name is, in the Ironman, So, but yeah, it's.
Last year, I was the best Sherpa duty. Was 3 of my friends qualified for Kona, so I went to Kona and was 3 of their Sherpas.
Oh,
That
your
was
turn
like
next. Your
the best
turn.
girl trip. Like, it was triathlon heaven. I was swimming, making sure they were all good. Drove around the minivan, put all their bike boxes in there. Like, that was like the biggest, best trip of my life. Like going to Hawaii with 3 of my friends to see them race world championships and be their Sherpa.
That's awesome.
Loved every minute.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Catherine, rendering tomorrow is a fourth quarter of 24. Do you have anything else left on the docket in just this year alone? Not 25, but just this year. Anything else left?
Yeah, I ran Tunnels to Towers yesterday, which is the 5K in Manhattan. So it's like one of the largest 5Ks. It was rainy and cold, but you run the route that one of the firefighters ran. You run from Brooklyn to the World Trade Center. So he ran for 9/11 with all his gear on, his firefighter gear. So it was a very emotional race. A lot of people run. A lot of people come out and cheer, families, for a good cause. So I had that yesterday, but I'm also doing the Army 10 miler with a friend. I'm gonna run it with her 11-year-old daughter because she
Wow.
one of my closest friends, but she recently got sick with like breast cancer. So she can't run it. So she asked me to run it with her 11-year-old daughter. And I mean, so honored to. Like, I love them both. So, and I've been wanting to go down to DC to see her. So I have the Army 10 miler coming up. Yeah, it's in 2 weeks.
That's amazing that an 11-year-old can do 10 miles.
Yeah, she's just gotten across country. So I envision her going like out really, really fast and then dying and then me crawling across the finish line. But we'll see how it goes. Those little kids like, "I'm going to do this so fast." Oh, crap. 10 miles, I can do it for 2.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
How about you, Cathy?
Yeah.
World Championship in 2 weeks I'm doing. And then I want to do, I was going to sign up for Spartan races and do my first Spartan race November 11th at Fenway Park. And then all of a sudden they came out with, well, if you want to skip that obstacle course, you just have to do an extra 10, push-ups or pull-ups. And I'm like, that just took the breath right out of me. I'm like, no, I want the competition. Because see, at your age, Catherine, you have so much competition. At my age, although we had last year at the starting race in nationals in Wisconsin, we had 96 girls. We had one of the biggest waves. So I think these women hit 60 and they think they can conquer everything, So we've been kind of having a bigger race. There's 18 U.S. girls that are going to nationals, and then there's a lot of Great Britain, German girls. And I have a goal. I want to be definitely top 10 U.S., but now I want to be top 5. I think I could make 6 with the girls that are running. Deb, who got 7th in this race, I usually beat her, and I just had an awful race. I don't know. Catherine, how did you feel? My hips just started feeling better now. They had us run on a boardwalk. I'm like, well, I didn't train on boards.
Yeah. No, I love the race, man. My swim was great. My bike, I just wanted to go as fast as possible, and then I just gave it all on the run.
Yeah. I'm praying it's not in New Jersey next year. Praying. I'm like, please just bring it back to Vermont.
Atlantic City's gross.
It's gross.
City. Yeah.
So many people said, don't touch the bottom. So I don't know if you saw me, but I did a belly
Yeah.
flop when he said, go in. I just totally flopped and I went,
Yeah.
I'm swimming right over there. And then when I was swimming, the tide was still coming in. You could
Yeah.
dig, you could drudge the sand on the bottom.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, do not hit any needles. Do not hit
Oh,
any
man.
needles.
Yeah, you swim in the back bay of Atlantic City. You're not swimming in the ocean. It's like the back bay of like gasoline and like garbage.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. And you come out with a muck beard. So they always say, like, you know.
No, I learned my lesson because in Australia we did. And at the end of the race, I'm like, everyone that has peach fuzz had like a beard.
Muck
So,
beard.
the minute just before I get on the bike, I splash myself because it's disgusting. Yeah. I learned that lesson a long time ago.
You know, it's great you guys do those events, and then you do the charity events, the tunnels, the towers, and then the New York City SEAL Swim. You know, at the end of the SEAL Swim, they had, you know, great speakers. They had the fire chief and police chief that were on site during 9/11. And if you've seen or read Lone Survivor by Luttrell, Danny Dietz's mother, she spoke, you know, so great things. Selfishly at the gym, at my gym, in October, we do a big breast cancer fundraiser called Unbreakable Boobs because the gym's called Unbreakable Athletics. And then May, we do Murph. So have you guys done Murph? It's a bit of an endurance workout because it seems like you guys like to travel, and I don't see you guys coming to Indiana very much, but we'll be hosting Murph again. It'll be, maybe the 14th year that we've done it, and probably the 20th time I've done it. If you guys want to come out.
Is it an obstacle course?
No,
Is it an obstacle course?
It's a 1 mile
No,
run, and then 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, 1 mile run. Some people will break up the 100, 200, 300 and doing like 20 rounds of 5, 10, 15. Some people just do it straight through. Ideally, you do it straight through and you wear a 20-pound vest, guys, 14-pound vest, girls. It's great. We'll raise money. I send it to the Michael Murphy Foundation and then some other charities that we do here locally. But in May, Memorial Day weekend, it's a huge ask that you guys come because that weekend is also, there's kind of a big race in Indiana called the Indianapolis 500. And it's the same weekend, right? The high schools, that's when they're having graduation that weekend. So hotels run like a $120 Comfort Inn runs $600 that night, you know? So, but if you guys could make it out here for one of our Memorial Day immerse, that would be outstanding. Selfishly, if we can get you there.
Hey, when I went to the Indianapolis with the Patriots playing the Giants, when I went to the Super Bowl, we had to stay the first night at like a Motel 6. My best friend and I, we both had just lost our husbands. He had gotten killed at an explosion in Middleton, Connecticut the year before Mike died. And so we went out there and we're like, I can't believe we're paying $3,000 a night for a Motel 6. It was awful. And then you have to like commit to like 3 or 4 nights there. I'm like, what are we, crazy? And we get the tickets for cost. We didn't even have to pay. Our tickets cost us $995 because I get them through my roommate from airline school was married to John Shaw, the president of the Rams. So we got, the tickets for so cheap, and then we were paying that crazy amount for a hotel room. But they get it. They get that money. People don't care,
It'll always come down to
it'll
always come down to supply and demand, right? There's only so much supply and the demand is high, so the price will go up, right?
Yeah. I could commit to that if I don't have to do the Hawaiian half to get to Hawaii. So I'm looking at a couple half Ironmans around here. There's one in December that I was thinking about doing that a couple girls are doing in my age group from this area. So I'm going to see if I can get into that. If I can do that this December, then that will free me up for May.
Awesome. All right. Just wrapping up. Cathy, when you're training, what do you listen to?
Oh, I love the Eagles. Love the Eagles. Steve Tyler, because I'm friends with him. So a lot of Aerosmith, a lot of AC/DC. When I competed, I did AC/DC.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I need some of the soft music. Like today, I kept rewinding Desperado for some reason, and I had a great run. So
how about you, Catherine?
Yeah.
More of like the 90s punk rock, like Linkin Park, like the Used, a little bit of Kevin Rudolph, a little
Nice.
EDM.
What's a buck?
What do
Yeah.
you think of the new lead singer of Linkin Park?
She's not bad. I
Yeah,
don't know. She has a good voice.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
Catherine, what's a bucket list adventure you haven't done or been there yet?
I mean, to go snowboarding over in Europe, and I was just talking to friends today about
Gotcha.
it. So one day I want to go. I've only
Fun.
been to West Coast,
How about you, Cathy?
so yeah.
I always said Mount Everest. I run up Mount Washington. Matter of fact, I'm doing that the weekend I get back. I run. I don't sprint. I run up Mount Washington. So my claim to fame is I do that in about an hour and 24. No one can keep up with me. When I do the race up there, I have a Sherpa. And 1 year, like the friend that doesn't run at all, loves to drink and party, kept up with me. And I'm like, she's like soaking wet, 100 pounds. I'm like, how the hell did you just do that? So I like Everest would be something really cool, but I hate the cold. I hate the cold. So let's see. I've scuba dove everywhere. Probably scuba dive in the Red Sea. I'm an avid diver.
Gotcha.
But definitely climbing Kilimanjaro, Everest, even if I just went up to like the 13,000
Right.
level, you know?
Everest is tough,
Yeah.
obviously. There's 4 different camps, including base camp. You got to fly in. It's about a month all in. It's a whole bunch of money. And that last trek, you're literally in the death zone, right? Your body's dying. Your body is dying,
Yeah.
right? You're trying to stay alive. Kind of get up to the top, take your picture, and get back down, and get back to where your body will stop killing itself. So that is, man, read Up in the Air by Krakauer. There's a lot of great stories. Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's from this area, I think, isn't he?
I
From
don't know
Rye
that part.
or was?
Cathy, what's your favorite sports
Yeah.
movie?
I was gonna say
Gotcha.
Rudy.
That was Catherine, by the way.
Meet Rudy.
Yeah.
How about you, Cathy? What's your favorite sports movie?
I like
Oh,
Rudy too.
boy.
Rudy, and I love my all-time favorite movie is Top Gun because I was stationed in Okinawa when that came out, and I saw it. I had just given birth to my daughter. We got a babysitter, and we went to watch it, and it was just the entire movie theater was Marines, and it was really cool. So, but Rudy for sports, I would
Cathy,
say.
favorite sport to watch?
Favorite sport to watch. Oh God, hockey in the playoffs. I love it because it's fast. That's a hard question because I'm such an Olympic girl. Every sport in the Olympics, I just love the swimming. I love gymnastics. The Olympics. I don't know. My dad brought us up. He was an athlete, so every sport and any sport. I grew up on myopia polo fields. I love to watch polo. My new husband, he's a pro tennis player, so. Yeah, I don't know. I love it all. Don't you, Catherine? Like it's
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
you just
Yeah.
when you got this mind and you're an athlete, especially Catherine where she's single, like I don't know. I feel kind of bad for my husband because I'm always out training, but he's always upstairs watching sports anyhow. So,
How about you, Catherine? What's your favorite sport
yeah.
to watch?
Football. I like
Catherine,
watching
do you have a
football.
favorite athlete
A lot.
in any sport to watch?
Yeah, she was probably the first triathlete I met was Chrissy Wellington. Then I met her book, and she had like a swimming background, great story, and she did like a book signing like at a Lifetime right by me, and I met her. She's the nicest person ever. So
Yeah. She got 2 books now. She got another one.
How
Yeah.
about you, Cathy?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite
She's
athlete
awesome.
to watch? Tom Brady.
Oh God. I was gonna probably say Tom Brady, but I don't know. Probably watching Michael Phelps swim. And I love
butterflies.
yeah. I think I don't know. I love so many sports that there's like I'll even just come up, grab a blanket, go into the movie theater with Dave, curl up with him and just watch whatever sport he's watching. Even baseball, as boring as it is, I love watching it, so I don't know. I think all sports and all athletes,
Where does Steve Prefontaine rank for you guys? Steve Prefontaine? Oh, you guys don't know.
I don't know who that is.
No.
Is he the
So
body-
who
is he?
He was a middle distance runner, mostly the 5,000, ran for Oregon, and ran in the Olympics. So watch Without Limits, that movie, Without
Without
Limits.
Limits. Okay.
It's
All right.
a biography of
Yeah.
Steve Prefontaine. Out in Oregon, Bill Bowerman was the head coach. Steve Prefontaine and Michael Jordan are the only statues on Nike's campus out in Oregon. Yeah, so
Wow.
I thought you guys might like him since he was always a cross country runner, and then he ran the 10K and then the 5K in college, but mostly the 5K. And just all grit, all grit, all grit. Yeah, like him.
Wow.
Catherine, favorite book?
So I read it recently. That's why it popped in my head. Was Mike Irwin? He started Team Red, White, and Blue. He wrote a book called "Leadership is a Relationship," and it's just good for like everyday life, sports, work, just how to be a
Gotcha.
good leader.
Kathy, how about you? Favorite book?
I told you, Bible. I just find it
That's a good one.
fascinating. I just find it, not even putting the
Yeah.
religion aside, I just find it fascinating. I hope that someday they don't come out and say it was all a lie, because I just find it so fascinating.
There could be,
Especially all the disciples, that part of it, and the adventures that they did, and anything adventurous too, like we just got done reading Whitey Bulger's book with one of his informants. And my husband and I were like, oh my God, this is so incredible. So we handed it off to his boss, who was a gunner in the Vietnam War, and said, you've got to read this book. And I read a book every 2 days. Yeah, I'm a reader.
Favorite superhero, Kathy?
Wonder Woman.
Both of you guys.
Wonder Woman.
All right.
Me too.
Yeah.
Catherine, how about favorite villain?
Yeah.
Oh, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
That's
Said it
right,
before, it was
Jaws. That's a good
Jaws.
one. I haven't heard that one yet. You're gonna
Yeah.
need a bigger boat over in Amityville.
Yeah. That original Jaws? That Jaws, his name
That's what you
was
said.
Bruce
I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's down on Martha's Vineyard. So Philip
his name's
Craig,
Bruce.
does all the mystery movies for the Hallmark, his two children, Jamie and Kim. I graduated with Jamie. He was in the Navy when I was in the Marine Corps. And Kim, his sister, 2 years older than me, they were actually in the movie. They got paid $50 a day to sit on the beach down there in Martha's Vineyard to do that. And yes, his name was Bruce. Yeah.
How about you, Kathy? Favorite villain?
I don't know. I don't really have a favorite villain. I guess who did
I
I
don't know.
write down? I think I wrote it down on that piece of paper. I don't really
You
know.
don't.
I didn't really. I was a crafter. Like I never really watched TV much. I was with my mom doing the sewing and the beading and the knitting and I was like, gotta go. So I didn't really watch too much. Probably Batman and Robin would be like a. But they really
What
weren't
about
villains,
what
right?
about Ian Thorpe? Since you
Joker?
love Michael, Michael
Joker?
Phelps so much.
How is he a villain?
Yeah.
All right. Lifting wise, since you guys are endurance athletes, Catherine, what's your favorite lifts? What do you like to lift?
Yeah, so my favorite lift when I was doing CrossFit was
Mhm.
the power clean. But now, since I started doing bodybuilding, the whole thing with bodybuilding is I wanted to grow a butt. So
What?
sumo deadlift. Sumo deadlift is like my favorite lift now. I get excited when
It
it's
absolutely does
sumo
grow that
deadlift.
ass because you're so wide. So those hips got to grow,
Yeah.
Or a really wide
Yeah.
stance box squat will do very, very similar. How about you, Kathy? What do you like to lift?
So I love box jumps, squats. I was trained through ISSA, so Fred Hatfield. So I love squats, and I know you have to be careful with them, but I just love them, and I love tricep kickbacks. I'm on the Peloton all night doing the Peloton rides, and I'm just doing the tri kickbacks the whole time I'm pedaling. I just love the tri
Awesome.
kickbacks. So there isn't anything in weightlifting that when I was training for the figure competition, I loved all of the weightlifting.
Gotcha.
Matter of fact, you got me back into it, Jim, because you're like, why aren't you lifting? And I'm like, I don't know. I just didn't think I needed it. And now that I started lifting again, I'm
Yeah.
feeling great.
You want to have that
Yeah.
power and that muscle endurance, it doesn't come from a lot of body weight reps. You have to do resistance training and then if anything that'll help me in the swim will be the leg kick or the pulls that I have, right? Because I have that piece. It's not the cardio endurance. But if you have that leg kick, if you have that strong core, like especially when you're running, right? People don't think, strong core, strong back really that big of a deal. But once you really fatigue out that muscle area, your posture is going to change, which means your gait is going to shorten, which means your hips are going to hurt, and you're going to run slower with a shorter gait. Stronger hips, stronger core, stronger back, you can hold that optimal running pose and that gait so you can be as fast and as efficient at the end. Usually people aren't wrecked cardio-wise or too out of gas and they can't run. It's usually their mechanics break down because the muscle endurance isn't there because they don't lift enough, so.
Yeah, I get that.
How about you, Kate?
Well, so when I look at Catherine's abs, like every picture of Catherine, it's like, look at this chick's abs. I'm showing my husband. He's like, damn. So for me, strong abs,
Right.
strong back, and where I've broken my back. So
Yep.
the abs, yeah, you got to keep those
Catherine,
abs
you got a favorite
strong.
quote?
Yeah, I have two. But one I say a lot is if it doesn't challenge you,
Sure.
it won't change you.
Yep.
And then the other one is I stole from Bill Brown, but he says it all the time, is adventure therapy. That's exactly what the SEAL swim is. Like, it's adventure therapy. And he said that one time, and I was like, that's absolutely so true. Like, when I was on that first barge, like, there's the Statue of Liberty, there's all these men. Again, it's like 300 men and like, what, 8 girls,
Yeah.
maybe? So it's like me everywhere. I'm like, I could do this all day. They're all just doing some pull-ups, some push-ups. It's a beautiful day. There's Statue of Liberty. I was like, I could do this all day. And it's like my happy place. And it's adventure therapy. I love that.
How about you, Cathy? You got a favorite quote?
I have a ton. I think my best one is what Dad always said: "What you don't do, you'll never know." So you gotta do. Like, it's like, Dad, should I do this? And he's like, if you have to second question it, I don't know. And then he's like, but if you don't do it, you'll never know.
Awesome. Man, great time today,
yeah.
guys. Catherine, where can we find you if people are, out there, Facebook or Instagram stalking you, where can they find you?
Yeah, Instagram is great. I'm on that a lot. It's just Cathy.art12. So
and how about you, Cathy? Where can people find you?
So Cathy Remington, but Cathi on Facebook. And I still don't know how to do Instagram, but I see all your posts. And if you want to, for all the girls out there that want to have awesome abs, definitely check her out on her Instagram. I mean, her abs, I'm sure you got first in the show you did, because your abs were ripped.
Yeah. Fortunately, figure competitions, not that many competitors. It's a lot harder. It's like 20 bikini girls, but it's like 5-figure girls. So I mean,
well, the problem now is the most going pro, Catherine, and when they do, you'd have to gain 30 pounds. Katie's one of the girls I want you to hook up with, Jim. She's a pro figure, and I said to her, all right, Katie, I want you to train me. I'm going to do a show on April 30th, and then I'm going right into a half Ironman. And she goes, you can't do a show. She goes, even your size, and I'm a pretty good size. I mean, I'm like 122, 5'4". She's like, nope, you got to put on about 30 pounds to do figure. So they're getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Lucas, you know that, right? They're just getting huge.
Yeah.
So, Cathy, what's a shout out for your bead store?
Beadcreative.net, BEAD creative.net.
What all do you have there, roughly? What do you have there at the store? Like, what do you guys specialize, or what are you known for? Okay.
Everything. I'm the largest retail bead store in the world. We have, if you just go on the website, you'll see 2 girls walked in today at 9:30. I'm like, wow, I'm not even open yet. And I was ready to walk out the door to go for a swim and play hooky this morning. And they walked in and just went, oh God, I think I'm having a heart attack. I don't just carry one bead. If Miyoki makes it, I carry everything. If you're going to be a bead store, you have to be a full boat bead store. So, and I'm not online because I don't want to spend my life packing up beads for people and sending them out. So I'm just like your little, family bead store, and it's very successful. So
awesome.
Until it gets bad, I don't have to sell online.
That's awesome, man. Cathy and Catherine, thanks so much today. For those that are listening, you want to email us your questions, info at athlete-builder.com. Also, the website athlete-builder.com. You should be able to check it out. My book is releasing here soon, so we'll be on the lookout for that. And there's swag online as well. So if you're looking to represent what we're talking about and our culture and our mantras, you'll find some swag there. Cathy and Catherine, man, great time today. A lot of fun. You guys had a lot of energy, great stories. So I didn't ask half the questions I had written down, but great insights. Just awesome time, man. What a gift. And best of luck to you guys in your endeavors with all the events you do, the charity events you do, all the adventures, all the risks you take, right? But just go out, keep living your best lives, and just watching you and others do that is inspiring for me and for so many other people. So you're making an impact without even trying. So, man, thank you so much for today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us and sharing our stories too. It's been an honor.
Hey, if it gets one person off the couch, that's all we need.
For sure,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
So,
all right, guys. Best of luck. We'll talk to you guys down the road.
Thank you.
Okay.